Welcome to the session. Now I am going to explain about the rest of the phyla under animal kingdom. Up to the last class, I completed the phylum Annelida. Today, let us consider the phylum Arthropoda. So now, look into the word. The meaning lies in the word itself. Arthros means jointed. Poda means legs. That means all these animals are provided with jointed legs. That is the foremost important or unique feature of this phylum. Now, let us consider one by one the salient features. Remember, Arthropoda is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. You can't see a place where there is no arthropod. It occupies almost all habitats, aerial habitat or even arboreal or even the land or the water or the desert like that. That means they are found in almost all what habitats. It is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. As I said earlier, they are provided with or they possess the jointed legs. That is the another feature. That means the legs are like this. If you observe the leg of an insect, like that of the cockroach or grasshopper like this, so these are the jointed regions and this is what is known as the jointed legs. And they exhibit what? Organ system level of organization, and of course organ system of level organization began from the phylum Asch elements. That means the organs are organized to form what? The organ system like the circulatory system, digestive system, respiratory system, etc. And of course the body is what? Segmented. But the number of the segments is quite lesser when compared to that of the phylum Annelida. For example, in the cockroach, which is an arthropod, the head is composed of the 8 segments. Head is formed by the fusion of 8 segments, whereas the thoracic region consists of the 3 segments, prothorax, and then mesothorax and metathorax. And then the abdominal region consists of the 10 segments like that. So anyhow, the segments of the body are very limited in number, not as like the Annelida where the number of the segments may range even up to about 200 or 250 like that, based upon the length of the body. For example, the earthworm. And even in leech, there were said to be nearly of about 33 segments like that. So then, the another one is, they are triploblastic. You are well aware of the term triploblastic, that is the presence of 3 layers in the body wall, outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner endoderm. So these are the primary germ layers from which what derived? The tissues and organs are derived or developed. And then bilateral symmetry, that means whenever the body is cut all along this antero-posterior axis, we are going to get 2 equal halves. And of course, the bilateral symmetry commenced from the platy elements itself. Then they are what? Coelomates. Of course, the true coelomates or eucoelomates began from the phylum Annelida. So whereas Asch elements was pseudocoelomate, whereas up to platy elements they were acoelomates. But from Annelida onwards, all are what? True coelomates. So what do you mean by true coelomate? True coelomate in the sense, if at all the coelom is lined by its own coelomic epithelium, then it is called as the eucoelomate. That is the one. The next is, body is covered by a chitinous exoskeleton. What do you mean by a chitin? Chitin is nothing but a polysaccharide, as like that of the cellulose, glycogen or starch. It is a complex sugar. Exoskeleton in the sense what? The one which covers the body externally, providing greater protection to the body, internal parts. The next is, body in general consists of head, thorax and abdomen. Particularly if you take the insects, it is said to be like this. This one is what? Head region, and this is thoracic region, and this one of course is the abdominal region. So the body in general consists of three parts: head, thorax and abdomen. So now, respiratory organs. What do you mean by a respiration? Respiration is nothing but the biological oxidation of food to release energy in the form of ATP. And of course, the vague definition is the exchange of gases. Oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given out. But the clear-cut biological definition is, it is the biological oxidation of food to release energy in the form of ATP, which is required to do what? Work. The respiratory organs are gills, particularly in the aquatic forms, or book gills, because these gills are arranged in the form of what? The pages of a book, or even book lungs, for example, the scorpion, or even the tracheal system or trachea. The tracheal respiration is found in insects. The trachea is subdivided into number of branches called what? Tracheoles. These tracheoles are ended up in what? Cells. So the entire tracheal system is filled with what? Air. Thereby the cells directly get their oxygen requirement from the atmosphere. Because of this air-filled tracheal system, the insects are light in weight. Then, the circulatory system is of open type. What do you mean by open type? In the last class I explained. Open type in the sense, if at all the blood flows with no definite blood vessels, or if the blood is filled with the blood spaces by name the sinuses, thereby the body cells are get bathed in the blood, then it is called as the open type. So here also the circulatory system is of open type, and blood is what? Colorless. Why it is colorless? Because it has no respiratory pigment. Whenever respiratory pigment is absent, the blood is not having any function with respiration. It will not supply what? Any oxygen, as like in case of our body, to the body cells. So blood has no respiratory function because of the absence of what? Respiratory pigment. Thereby the blood is what? Colorless. So that is the circulatory system. Now the excretory system. I told you in the last class itself, the removal of the nitrogenous waste from the body is called what? Excretion. And the organs which are involved in the process of excretion are called what? The excretory organs. So the organs which are involved in the process of excretion all together called as what? Excretory system. Which are the excretory organs in case of the arthropoda? They are Malpighian tubules, as like in case of the cockroach, or green glands, as like in case of the prawn, like that. The next is the sense organs. What are sense organs? The sense organs are those which are sensitive to certain stimulus. Now let us know about the sense organs like antennae. Antennae are even otherwise known as what? Feelers. They are sensitive to touch. And then the eyes for the vision. They may be either simple eyes or compound eyes. What do you mean by a compound eye? The compound eyes are present in what? Insects. So the compound eyes are like this. Each compound eye is composed of about several, even up to about 2000. They simple eyes by name Ommatidia. This is the one. Ommatidia is the unit of what? Compound eye. And that is meant for what? The mosaic vision. Remember, ours is what? Binocular vision. Binocular vision in the sense, so here our two eyes focus on the same object at the same time. That is the binocular vision what we have. Here it is mosaic vision. That means each ommatidium or each unit of the compound eye focused on a particular part of the object, and all together are the overall vision that is viewed by the ommatidia aggregate to form the exact image of that object. That is what is called as mosaic vision. Then statocyst. Statocyst is an organ of what? Balance. Balancing organ. Which is the balancing organ in case of us? It is said to be the ears. Ears are the balancing and even auditory organ. Here statocyst means the one which helps in balancing. And they are unisexual forms. Unisexual forms means they male and female individuals are separate. That is even called as dioecious form. The fertilization is internal. That means it occurs within the body of the female, as like that of the higher forms like man. And the development is usually indirect and in some only it is direct. Indirect development means, as you are aware, it involves what? The larval stage. So larva means what? Immature young one of an adult. That larva undergo metamorphosis and ultimately become the adult. If at all there is a larva in the life cycle of an individual, then it is called indirect. Whereas in case of the birds, reptiles and even the mammals like that, do you come across any larval stage? No. So hence our development is what? Direct development. So that is the one. The example is economically important plant. The examples are apis. Apis means honeybee. So the culturing of the honeybee is nothing but apiculture. So in order to obtain commercially the honeybees are the reared. Then Bombyx mori, that is nothing but what? Silk moth. So the silk moth adult is not reared, but it is the silkworm which is reared to get what? The raw silk. Today, many of the farmers are dependent upon what? Sericultural activities for their livelihood. That is the silkworm. Vector. What is vector? Vector is an intermediate agent which transmits the disease from one individual to another. For example, Anopheles spreads what? Malaria. And then Culex. This Culex mosquito transmits the particularly elephantiasis which is caused by the filarial worm. And even it transmits the brain fever by name encephalitis. So these are the vectors. Gregarious. Gregarious means those which live in group. So are in mass. The best example is locust. And then living fossil is the limulus. Limulus is nothing but king crab. It is a marine form. Why it is called as a living fossil? What are the features to call any individual as a living fossil? So to call any individual as a living fossil, it should possess these following, the 2 or 3 features like this. 1. They should be very rare in the number. They are very, very rare. Their number is highly reduced. Then the question arises, why their number is reduced? Because they did not undergo any sort of changes since long time during the period of evolution. As they are not subjected to any change since from long time, they are not able to adapt to the changing environment. Hence, their number is very rare. And the another one feature is they are on the verge of extinction. And some living fossil form a connecting link between the related groups. For example, Peripatus is considered as a living fossil. It forms a link between what and what? It forms a link between Annelida and Arthropoda. And even, for example, the egg-laying mammals are considered to be the living fossils. They form a link between what and what? Reptiles and that of the mammals. Because it is thought that the mammals are originated from the reptiles. Because of these Ornithorhynchus or the duck-billed platypus, that is nothing but the egg-laying mammals, form a link between the reptiles and that of what? The mammals. Like that. And even there was an Archaeopteryx, of course it was a fossil, that forms a link between the reptiles and the birds. So that proved the birds are originated from what? Reptiles. So this Limulus is also said to be a living fossil. So that means to call any individual as a living fossil, it should possess one, it is very, very less in number and is on the verge of extinction. Second point, it has not undergone any change since millions of years. And the third one is usually it forms a link between the different groups, that is helpful in studying the evolutionary pattern or evolutionary of any group of the organisms. So that is the Limulus. With this, the phylum Arthropoda is completed. Now let us take up the next phylum, that is Mollusca. Mollusca means we can easily call them as soft-bodied animals. The molluscan's body are just like that of a mussel mass. Mussel in the sense is nothing but soft in nature. Molluscans are the second largest phylum. Which is the first largest phylum? That is Arthropoda. Second largest phylum is Mollusca and is characterized by the soft body. And they exhibit what? Organ system level of organization with triploblasticity, bilateral symmetry and coelomates. I already explained many times all these terminologies, hence I don't want to repeat it again. And of course, as the body is very soft, in order to provide protection to that soft-natured body is covered by a hard shell. The shell is very hard due to the presence or deposition of what? Calcium carbonate. It is secreted by a fold of skin called what? Mantle. What is mantle? Mantle is nothing but a fold of skin that secretes what? This shell. The mantle not only forms the cell but is also helpful in respiration. Mantle is considered as what? Skin. Hence, the respiration occurs through the mantle can be referred as what? Cutaneous respiration, like that. Then, the body is of course unsegmented body. For example, you take the freshwater mussel or even the pila or apple snail like that, Masunulu. If you take them, the body is unsegmented. But it consists of what? the head, the ventral, highly muscular foot, and then visceral hump. So the visceral hump in the sense, this is the reason contains the internal organs. Viscera means internal organs. So hump means that is a raised portion like this. Duppa, hump. Viscera means internal organs. So this hump region encloses what? The internal soft organs. Then the mantle cavity, where this mantle cavity is present? Between the visceral hump and the mantle. What is mantle? A thin fold of a skin. What is visceral hump? It is the raised region, or it is the region which encloses the internal organs, by name the viscera. Between this visceral hump and then the mantle, there is a cavity called what? Mantle cavity, into which water comes in. Then the molluscans possess a special type of the gills by name Ctenidia. For example, you can study it very easily in case of the freshwater mussel. Kappe chippil praninile, you can observe this Ctenidia. Then the other respiratory organs may be the gills. Gills, of course, they are nothing but this Ctenidia. And the mantle also possesses what? The respiratory side through which respiration can be occurred by the process of diffusion. And the respiration which occurs through mantle can be referred as cutaneous respiration, because mantle is considered as what? Skin. And then even there is the lungs. So this lung cannot be comparable to the typical lung what we have, but still it functions as what? The lungs. For example, the snail is having the gills, is having the mantle, and you are having the lungs. Whenever it is said to be in water, it respires through gills. And whenever it comes onto the land, as long as the mantle is in moist condition, it can respire through that skin, that is cutaneous respiration. Through gills, it is bronchial respiration. And even it can respire through lungs, that is pulmonary respiration. So pulmonary respiration through lungs, bronchial respiration through gills, and the cutaneous respiration through the skin. Then the circulatory system is of open type, and then the blood is lightly blue in color. So that blueness is due to the pigment called what? Hemocyanin pigment. Hemo means what? Blood. Cyanin means what? Blue. Then there are unisexual forms with indirect development, where there is larva. The another term for unisexual is what? Dioecious. And have you heard the term monoecious? Monoecious is for bisexual form, and there is another word, hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite, monoecious, bisexual, all are one and same. That means if at all an individual possesses both male and female sex organs, that is their testis and ovary, then they are bisexual. If they possess only one of the sex organs, either testis or ovary, then it is unisexual, or even called dioecious form. The typical examples for this are freshwater mussel. The term itself indicates found in the freshwater bodies, and then apple snail, nothing but the phyla, and then octopus, which is commonly called as the devilfish, and then dentalium, the tusk shell. So these are all the marine forms. These are the common examples for the molluscans. With this, the another phylum, that is Mollusca, is completed. In the next class, I will take up the phylum Echinodermata. Thank you, one and all.